A freedom skill coach is a person who helps others find the skill that's already inside them. Every time that I would step in the office, I had a panic attack, like I couldn't breathe. So I decided to leave. We all have something that somebody else wants to pay for. You're sitting right now already. The ATM machine is in you. You just need that PIN code to open it.
I love that. You're only one decision away from a totally different life. If you don't like how your life is, you have the power to change it
You
100%.
have the powers
It
to
might
change.
take a little bit of. Hi there. I want to welcome Oksana Krikounova to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. Oksana is a freedom skill coach, so welcome.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Do you want to start by telling us what a freedom skill coach is?
Yes. So basically, a freedom skill coach is a person who helps others find the skill that's already inside them that others are willing to pay for and create a real online business from it.
That's amazing. You know, I love the word freedom. It's built into
Yes.
everything that we do. And what inspired you or how did the journey take you to this place where you're serving people in this way?
Basically, the how it all started with my own story. It came from my experience. I am a mom of four, and it's been 10 years that I've been in paralegal. So basically working a corporate job from 9 to 5 every single day from Monday to Friday. And it was very difficult to manage the work and the family life, the children. And right from the start, I was not in a toxic environment at work. So my bosses were good to me. Everybody was good to me. The work itself was good to me. Also, the only problem was that at a point, my work was not longer fitting with my life.
Right.
And but the other problem was is that that was my stability.
Mhm.
So just leaving something when I have four kids behind me, that would have been something very, very irresponsible. And I saw women online doing things and they were succeeding, and I didn't know how. I looked at their profiles, I looked at what everybody was doing, and it seemed like everybody was living this free life where they were enjoying life, where they were present for their kids, where they didn't have to ask for a day off because their child was sick, where they didn't have to ask for a few hours off because they wanted to go see a concert that at school their child was at. And for me, that was putting a lot of pressure on me. And I wanted to understand how other women did it. Why were they able to succeed and why am I not able to do it? So I started, honestly, became very miserable at work just because it was very hard for me to manage all of that. It was hard for me to leave at, let's say, 6 o'clock, drop the kids off at school, and they all had to start school earlier just because they had to be I had to leave. So they all started school earlier. School finished around 3:20, but I worked until 5. So they had to stay longer. So they had, and would pick them up around 6. So they had long days. I had long days. We would get home. There was supper, homework, bedtime, and it was all like such a big struggle. It was so hard.
Mhm.
So basically, when I was on my third maternity leave, I started just experiencing video editing, something that I thought was my little escape world. And I started just doing it for fun. And then since I was doing that work, I was just started posting about it online. And all of a sudden, businesses started reaching out to me and they wanted my service, which I wasn't even offering yet as a service. So businesses started reaching out to me saying that they want those type of videos for themselves, for their
Mhm.
businesses.
Oh,
And I thought, well, wow, maybe that's something that I can do. Maybe that's how people do it. But I didn't leave because I was still very afraid. I had my stability, and that's just something that I couldn't just let go. It was the stability. So I went back after my third maternity leave and I continued working. And then once I went on my fourth maternity leave, that's where I understood. I didn't understand how was it going to be possible for me to go back. And at this point, I had a teenager and I had a baby. So there was a
Right.
lot of things going on in the world. They were all in different schools,
Oh
daycare.
my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't understand how I was going to be able to manage that. I still ended up going back to work right after maternity leave. But at this point, what's very important is that my skill, which became video editing, I was already making money off it online. So I was doing video editing for businesses, for brands, and for businesses. And I was making money online, but just because I was so afraid to let go of that stability just
Mhm.
because I knew I had a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks and that was stable. I knew I could count on it. I couldn't leave. But the moment that I went back on my from my first maternity leave, my body just broke. Honestly, I walked in, I stepped in, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't, like, I honestly couldn't breathe. Every time that I would step in the office, and it's important to mention that nobody was bad to me. Like, I didn't have
Yeah.
toxic people around me. It was just so much pressure on me that every time I would step into the office, I had a panic attack. Like, I couldn't breathe. Like, it was just, I was panicking.
Okay.
And once I understood that my body was breaking down on me, I was getting sick constantly, constantly. I understood that this was not going to do any good for me, for my family, for the work that I'm at. It's not going to do any good for anyone. So I decided to leave and to take a chance on it. And that's what I did. That's
Wow.
exactly what I
That's
did. I
that's a
left.
huge decision that some people never make, right?
Yes.
They just keep, well, they've made a decision, but they decide to stay, right? Which is
Yeah.
totally fine in their decision, but I feel like you're so brave for doing that. I think it's one of the hardest decisions to make for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is one of the hardest decisions. It's so hard because you're afraid of what if it's not going to work out? What if something's not going to work out? What if you won't be able to provide food for the table?
So how did you shift from what if into just saying, no, I'm going to make this work?
It was already working. So I already had my clients. The
Right.
only thing is that when you're, let's say, working for yourself, the clients come and they go. So some
Hmm.
months are better than others. And it was the fact of how I was able to build my presence and my system online so that I could maintain my clients, so
Hmm.
that I could have not just one client, let's say, that comes in randomly, but I had a client, like I have clients that's been 4 or 5 months, I'm with them. So they're my stability.
Right.
So
Yeah.
obviously, I built a system on how I can have clients, on how clients just come to me themselves.
Right. So you had faith.
Yes,
Yes, that's amazing. I think that's one important piece that a lot of people don't take that leap because they don't have that faith that everything will be okay, especially if you want it to be, right? It's that trust in whatever you believe is a higher power will take care of you, will allow you to thrive no matter what you choose to do. So it's really commendable, though, that you took the leap, that you just said goodbye to what we have learned is the security that we should all desire, right? Is a
yes,
job, and I think that it's really important to note and to like just highlight what you've done because it's not common, right? It's not the most common thing. You probably maybe didn't even know a handful of other people who weren't, in the online space, but like around you who were
yeah,
doing that, right? And when we're doing the uncommon thing, we become this like we're on an island, right? Where we were just listening to this, where we are the person doing something so different from everyone else.
yes,
Yeah. Would
definitely.
you say that that was true for you at that time?
Yes, I truly believed in myself. When others didn't believe in me, when others others thought that I was crazy,
Yeah.
I knew that that was a way out. I
Mhm.
saw other women do it. I saw other women succeed, and I knew that if they can do it, I can do it. I kept
Yeah.
repeating that to myself. If you can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
If you
It's
can do it,
evidence,
I can
right?
do it.
It's just evidence all around you that
Yes,
those people, if they can do it, yes, we absolutely can do it because it's proof. It's just,
that's right.
yeah. Well, that's amazing. So then how did your business change from video editing into what it is that you're offering now?
Yes. So at a point, I got at this point where I had a ton of clients. I had so much clients that I couldn't manage my clients. So I had to kind of put a stop to it, like take down many or just keep my clients, and I wasn't taking any new ones.
Mm,
And at a point, I at a point there was a time that came where I understood that I wanted something different a little bit. I wanted something different because I understood that this system worked, and I talked to so many people at my job before I left who were moms too,
mm,
who wanted that, wanted that type of life, but just didn't even know how it was possible. They never understood because they worked so much on their career. They went to school, university. They did so much that for them, that was their identity that
right.
resolved around them, and they didn't see any other possibilities. So I knew that there were other women like that in the world, just like me, and I thought it was important to give my knowledge to them. And I don't teach video editing to those women. I teach them that there's a skill inside them. And it doesn't have to be a technical skill. It could
Sure.
be any skill. There's a
Yep.
skill inside them sitting right now, right there, that somebody else is going to pay for.
Yes, 100%. And I think, a lot of people, they think, okay, well, in order for me to leave this 9 to 5, I have to, uh, really create something unique and
Yes.
uh, I have to have massive success with it before I can leave. But a lot of times, they start something on the side and it's growing, whatever, but it really doesn't boom until you let go of that security blanket, of that
Yes.
plan B, of the thing that's holding you back from going all in on whatever it is that you've uncovered for them, right? That skill, or whether it's maybe some kind of insight that they have, they've overcome something in their life, right?
Yes.
There's all those things. And the knowledge industry is just massive. I think that it is something that we all aspire to be, is someone who has the freedom to do what we want to do, provide for our family. I mean, I'm like you. I have four probably similar age children, I think, and then two adult children. So I have six children total.
Oh,
And,
wow.
I have no idea. I think it's been, what is it, 7 years now since I had a full-time job, like an actual job. I've been on my own since 2019. And
Wow.
I
Impressive.
look at other people, my kids are in sports and stuff like that. And I look at the other parents and I'm like, I have no idea how they manage with a job and being there and being present for as many things that I'm so grateful to be present for. But it's like, if that's not the reason to leave, I don't know what is. If
Definitely.
that itself isn't a reason to try and bet on yourself, I don't know what is, you
Definitely.
know?
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yeah,
I'm
I think
assuming you get to experience so much more of your kids' lives now.
yes. Also, my kids, they have interests in different things, right?
Yeah.
So they want to experience life too. They want to experience things for themselves, which I think it's fair. And because they're children, I don't think, they deserve less. I think they deserve even more. So if my child wants to do a certain sport, right, and the sport starts at 5 o'clock, it's a
Yeah.
shame for me to be a mom and say, I'm sorry, son, you cannot do that sport because mommy has to be building a fortune for somebody else.
Right. Yeah. And this has shifted so much because people are having this realization all the time,
Yeah,
right? So the employment industry has changed just drastically. Employers are struggling to find employees who will give up their lives for them because it's
definitely.
ludicrous, right? It's a ludicrous concept when you go back and you think about how much we would give for. And like it doesn't mean the job is bad and doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't be grateful for it or it's a fit for them.
Yes,
Maybe they don't have kids who want to do stuff and they're fine with the way they're like whatever it is. Great. But so often people are like, who would trade, just having what after dinner and homework and all that, you get what, 1 hour of like quality time, maybe if you're lucky,
maybe,
right? And
yeah,
that's crazy. Like, I think it's crazy to think
yeah,
about how that's a reality for so many people, right? They're missing their kids' lives, And if that's you, and you're listening to this YouTube and you're like, okay, give me the
yes.
meat and potatoes of how do you actually make this happen? What would you say to someone who's now just thinking, okay, you know what, I'm hearing everything and I would love to have that kind of freedom too. Where would you start?
Where would I start is honestly start with yourself. Think about the things that you love doing or that you're doing daily. And I mean daily doing them. Some people they don't understand that doing something daily is what others are paying for. So let's say I'll give you an example. somebody who's been doing accounting for years, right? They're saying, well, I don't even know anything about accounting. Um, oh, not, I don't know anything else but accounting. But let's say if you know accounting, right? That means you're good with money. You know things about money.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to maybe save money, how to make, how to, where to invest. I don't know, like something.
All
There's
kinds of things.
probably something.
Bookkeeping, making
Yeah, there's some,
spreadsheets,
and there's
budgeting.
somebody else there, you know, that wants to know how to get out of debt,
Right,
how to save money, how to get goals with setting money. So they're willing to pay for that. So
right.
I really think that you should just think about what exactly you can do. There is a skill inside you. That's the first thing. Find that skill, find that passion, find something that others come to you constantly and ask you questions about. And this is something that you can actually monetize online, and that can become your freedom skill business.
Right.
Afterwards, you start with your skill and then your story. So
Mm-hmm.
your story, your transformation, how you got from point A to point B, how you came to a realization from point A to point B, how you help someone from point A to point B. Tell that story, because people now, they don't buy from businesses. They'd rather buy from people. They
Yeah,
trust more somebody than a business on the corner, right?
right.
So
100%.
very important to find your skill and tell it from your story with the brand message that you're carrying
Right.
across.
And sometimes that story too becomes like not just the skill, but it's the thing that people want to know. So maybe you've overcome something in your life where, you can help others overcome that. It's not always something maybe where you want to stay in that energy. So say you've, managed to have a beautiful divorce. Maybe you want
Yes.
to help people have a calm separation where it
Yes.
doesn't have to be. So there's so many things that you've overcome. And I remember, I don't know who said this, but we are often best positioned to serve the person that we used to be. So we've
Yes.
overcome things, we've transitioned, we've learned all kinds of things. So who is that person that you were and how did you get to where you are now, which is all part of that story too. But maybe it's not necessarily like just a skill. It could also be that you've came through a process of like dealing with trauma or divorce or whatever. It doesn't even have to be a negative thing either. It could be maybe
Yeah.
you've made a whole bunch of money and you want to show other people how to make a whole bunch of money.
And this is very important because a lot of people are afraid to show, they think that the highlighted reel, the highlighted story, them with the final result, that's what people want to see. People don't want to see that. They can't relate to that exactly.
Yeah,
They will relate to the emotion that they're experiencing at the moment. So I
right.
actually have a client, and her biggest struggle is that she's teaching businesses um, how to be motivational, how to get to their goals, and at the same time, she's always asking me, Oksana, I don't want to talk about what was bad in my life. I don't want
Mm,
to, I just want them to see the luxury that I'm living right now, the beautiful life. And I told her, you can't, because that's your story. There is a start and there's an end. People cannot just see the end. They're not going to trust you.
yeah, yeah,
There's not going to be any trust. Maybe you're making that up you're right now. They need to see the transformation. How did you get from here to here? Because they're probably at your start point, like
right.
you
Yeah.
said. So they're the younger version of yourself.
Right. Yeah. And they want to see, like, you have a message from that mess, but they want to hear about the mess you were in because that's how they relate to where you were. So if you never talk about all the hard stuff and all of the things you had to go through to get to where you are now, they won't believe that, oh, you
That's
just
right.
got there and you just snapped your fingers. No, that's never how it is, right? And it doesn't mean it has to be massive struggle, but there's something there. You didn't just wake up a completely different person and someone successful and whatever. There's a journey there and people
Yes.
want to hear about that for sure. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So has she started to share more about the mess?
Yes. Yes. She started the moment that I told her that you have to share this. So she would send me a video and she would say, well, I was trying to be authentic right now. Like I'm afraid to post this. I don't want them to think of me that I had problems with money.
Hmm.
And I said, just post it. And the moment that she posted, she had so many people reach out to her telling her, oh my goodness, I'm in the same place. Oh my goodness, I
That's
can feel
amazing.
this. Oh my goodness, so how did it work out for you? Oh my goodness. So they were actually relating more to her at this
Yeah.
point because she was being authentic.
Yeah, being real and not hiding the things
Yes.
that the challenges that she's had.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that when people do share in that way, right, it's you're connecting with people in a way that they want you to. They want you to understand what they're going through. And if you are just over here saying, "Oh, look at my perfect life," people are like, "Okay, good for you." You
It
know?
would be, yeah, it would be the same thing for me if I would tell them I wasn't scared to leave my 9 to 5.
Right. Yeah.
It would have been the same thing as if I was saying, just leave. Don't build anything, leave, and you're going to be free. No, there was a big struggle. There was
Yeah.
a big struggle before that where I was in pain of thinking, can I leave? Should I not leave? Where I was afraid. Uh, I
Yeah.
was going through exhaustion. I was going through panic attacks. And a lot of women feel that
Yeah.
if I don't talk about it and I just talk that I left and I'm making a business right here, right
Yeah.
now, but how did it happen?
But it took you years to finally make
Yes.
that decision, right? It wasn't
Yes.
just overnight you decided, okay, I'm out of here.
No, not at all. Not
Yeah.
at all.
And that's how that happens, right? Is like we gradually change over time. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it takes years, right? Sometimes and it doesn't matter. Everyone's journey is different. And I think that it's really just about honoring that, though. It's about honoring the journey and how you got to where you are and not being afraid to talk about it. That just gives me a great idea for something else to post. And sharing that, right? And not being afraid to say, hey, this is something that didn't go how I wanted it to go in my life, but
Yeah.
I was able to think differently and work my way through it or whatever it is, right? Yeah, I think that's amazing. So if someone were to, they're hearing this and they're like, okay, I really want to um, do something on my own. How do they start to work with you?
They can reach out to me from Instagram on
Okay.
my DM, and I can already there. I'm always there to help everyone. Honestly, I
We'll make
already,
sure to put your Instagram link below the video, but if you want to say what it is,
it's Oksana Reels.
okay.
So yeah,
Awesome.
OKSANA
Okay.
Reels.
Here we go.
Yes.
Okay, we'll make sure that link is below too. That's the best way for them to reach out to you is just DM you on Instagram?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
just DM me and I always answer to my DMs. I always talk to everyone. I always give, if I'm able to give advice, if I'm able to motivate someone, if I'm able to even, a lot of people, they have struggles at the
Mhm.
beginning where they're afraid. That also somebody needs to close those beliefs, or sometimes they just need someone who believes in them because they might not have someone in the back of them.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I love to be that person. I love to
Yeah.
stand behind them and I love to cheer them on.
And so what kind of what do you offer?
Yes, so I have different products, but one of my main products is my online coaching. So it's a 3-month online coaching, one-on-one, where we actually build your freedom skill business. So we do calls weekly together where I give you so many exercises to work with. We start off, the first thing is to find the skill itself. What is going to be the skill that will become your freedom skill business? So we take that skill. Then we work on your story. So we actually retrieve your whole story and I make you do so many exercises that you go back to your childhood. Because
Hmm.
when I was creating my story, I went back to my childhood and things clicked in me that this freedom skill right now or freedom that I want, it comes from my father who has worked his whole life.
Yeah.
And he was a truck driver. So he was driving twice. He was for 2 weeks, he was gone, 2 days, he was home
Whoa, yeah.
until he was retired and he retired later on. And I understood that that already came from there. So honestly, like we go deep in with working on your story and then we create your brand message. After we have that, we work on your content system. So we actually see what needs to be posted, how it needs to be posted. We work on your content. And I also, since I'm a video editor, of course, I do a lot of video editing techniques on how we can edit videos to make them more engaging, what needs to be done. So honestly, there's so much that goes into our work
Right.
together. And we finally get to the offer itself. So we create the offer and then we create the program itself. So
Mhm.
at the end of the 3-month coaching, you basically have a full business already set up.
Well, that's amazing. I love
Yes.
hearing this. And so that could be, I mean, a lot of people have questions about what kind of technology to use and all that, but I assume that you are, working through that, what works for them specifically, individually, like kind of on a case by case basis.
Yes, so
Yeah.
with everyone, I work personally with everyone. We work, we see what exactly it's never the same coaching as from one person to the other because
Right.
it always shifts.
Yeah.
But definitely I adapt to every single one of them. And what's important to say also is that right now I have a client, my Instagram and everything, I do it all in English, right? But I speak French because I live in Quebec. And that's one of the most important things is that I have a client now, she speaks English too, but her program is in French.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided like I speak French, I'm able to give her that program and she's going to be applying it to her offer which she's doing in French. So I translated my whole program in French and we do everything in French. So honestly I adapt to everyone.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. I love when people use to their natural language as well, because a lot of people think that they have to adapt and do stuff in English. But what if the attraction is that you don't
Yes.
speak English, right? That
Mhm.
you speak whatever it is that you speak. I think that's really interesting too. Um, so people can reach out to you on Instagram. That's amazing. Do you have anything that you would want to share with someone listening who is just, they're kind of like stressed out. They're doing all the things. They're working. They're trying to make, maybe they've already started something on the side and they just need that little, push, that little bit of confidence or inspiration to move them into having that faith in themselves to be able to create their own business, their own economy. Anything you want to say to
Definitely.
that person?
I want to say to that person that everything is possible and that if they're ready, if they've already decided that the life that they're living right now, they don't want it anymore and they want to change it, that they need to change it. They have to start building. They have to start building the life that they want.
Yeah.
And what I want to say is that a lot of women they don't believe in their skill. I call that a skill, but it can be a passion or it can be anything that they're good at.
Mhm.
I mean, we all have something that somebody else wants to pay for.
Yeah.
So why not use it? You're sitting right now already. The ATM machine is in you. You just need that PIN code to open it.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
others they want to know. Everybody wants to, there's somebody that wants to know what they have. Either it's parenting,
Yeah.
cooking,
Hmm.
fitness, motivation, finance, you name it, anything. Could be gardening.
Yeah, and encouraging them too, I think, to think about what they're passionate about, where they
Yes,
find joy. Because you don't
of
want to
course.
just create a business necessarily of just because you know how to do something if you're not actually passionate about it. If you
No.
don't actually like want to spend every day talking about that. Because you kind of have to want to spend every day talking about it, right?
Well, that's when I work with my clients. We go down deep so much on the skill that we try to retrieve what are others coming to you
Hmm.
for that you're always constantly giving away for free.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
coming to you for the advice or for you're
Yeah.
constantly giving that away for free. So that's something that they would have actually paid for.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I
It's
think that's
in you.
important to note for
You will
sure.
love doing it and you will actually enjoy doing it
Yeah.
because it's going to be so natural to you. It's something that's done naturally. You
Hmm.
do it
Yeah.
daily without even realizing that that's a skill that somebody else needs to know about.
Right. And I think the question too is sometimes is like, what could you just right now talk about freely for 20 minutes without planning
Yes,
anything? What
there you
could you
go.
just go like down a rabbit hole on? And people are like, oh, here she goes again talking about this. And that's the thing, right? Because you're just like so passionate about it. I think sometimes I will come across people who they're like, they don't know. So they're very much like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know. And like, how are you going to help me figure that out? I've tried to think about it. I've tried to understand, what it is, but I don't know. And so, where do you go from there?
Honestly, I my exercises that I make them do, they don't do them with me. So
Mhm.
that's something that they do on their own. That's the homework that I give them. And once they're done with that homework, they come to me. And there's so many exercises that when they're doing it, they're answering without even thinking that it's a skill they're already trying to retrieve.
Right.
So it's something that honestly, by going deep down inside them, like you said, whatever you're doing every single day, what are you doing every single day that you don't even realize it? Some women, I don't know, they're so good. They love doing breakfast, just
Mm.
breakfast.
Yeah.
They don't realize that that's something, they would have
Yeah.
never thought about that being a skill, but you could be the breakfast girl.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the next day you have books coming out and
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what you can do in the online space. I just love it. Um, and so is there anywhere where people can see your offers?
Yes, so everything is on my Instagram
Okay.
page. So everything is there. I constantly talk about my offers. I constantly talk about the clients that I share the journey, the behind the scenes. I really share everything. And I also give a lot of advice just like that. I love
Well,
helping people. So if I'm able to help someone, well,
well, that's amazing. I'm sure this video will help someone. So thank you so much for being on today. Is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap up? Is there anything maybe you didn't say that you want to make sure you say?
I just want to say to believe in yourself. And I also want to say that you deserve to live the life that you want. Either if you are so comfortable in your corporate job and you love it, and that's fine. But if you're not and you want out and you want a freedom life, you don't want to be dictated by anyone,
Mhm.
then there's that path too. So I don't want you to just close yourself to what you've done your whole life.
Yeah.
Open up to what you love, open up to the world, open
Yeah.
up to your dreams, open up to what you want to see, and that will guide you.
I love that. You're only one decision away from a totally different life.
Yes,
So if you don't like how your life is, you have the power to change it
you
100%.
have the powers
It
to
might
change
take
it.
a little bit of like faith, getting over the fear of it, but it's 100% worth it on the other side. So if you even have the tiniest little inkling of the thought that, yeah, I don't really love what's going on over here. I'd love to be doing something different. Just keep going down that path. Do some
Yeah.
journaling, realize what it is that you actually, what kind of life you actually want to live. And then you build a business to support that. We're not building life around our business or our
Yeah,
job per se,
definitely.
right? You want to build your life first and
Yes.
then the work to fit inside of that. I think that's what we were trained to do the opposite of, right? Find a job, make it work, then you can have a life.
Yeah, they sold us
Yeah.
that belief, and we all
Mhm.
believed in it since we were little.
Yeah.
It's something that I'm actually trying right now with my kids. I want to make
Yeah.
sure that I don't put that belief in them.
Exactly. They can do what they want to do. They don't have to do what everyone else is doing. I
Yes.
mean, it's an interesting thing when you think about kids and how life is so different now than when we were kids, right? Or I'm probably quite older than you, but if you look at how your childhood was and now you're looking at your kids, it's like you feel like they have so much more possibility, right? And because of what we know, we get to instill different values in them and different ideas. And even having the openness of mind to like consider things that we would have never considered. We were just like, you got to go get a job that makes enough money to support your family so you can buy a house and retire and all these things. And it's like,
Yes.
how generic is that? Like it does not fit everyone, right? It's not going to
No.
fit everyone's life. And when you
Yep.
start having kids and lots of kids, which is a beautiful thing, you want to have that freedom, right? To be able to
Hmm.
be there for the things that matter the most. So if that
Yes.
sounds interesting to you, reach out to Oksana on Instagram. I'll make
Thank
sure the link
you.
is below. Thank you so much for being on here today. It's been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait for you to help and inspire others.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that we had this chat today, and I hope that the messages go out to all the women we hear.
I'm sure whoever needs to hear this is listening right now, and this is for you. So know that you were meant to hear this message, and don't just
Yes.
walk away and do nothing with it because it was meant for you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm.